Hello and welcome to the More Cheese, Less Whiskers podcast. My name is Dean Jackson, and today we have a very fun guest. We've got Eoin Everard, who's a physiotherapist from Kilkenny, Ireland, calling all the way from across the pond. And he's such an enthusiastic marketing lover. He's been following the I Love Marketing podcast since 2012, and he's really doing some great things in marketing his physiotherapy practice. And we had a great discussion about all of the elements of his before, during, and after units. And one of the things that was really kind of an interesting overture of the whole conversation was this idea of really thinking bigger than a solopreneur, that you pretty quickly, and if you're going to scale your business, you have to get to a point where you can see your business providing results and value beyond your need to be involved in delivering that value. You have to be able to create a system and a procedure and a process that can, both in the before unit, find people who want to get the result that you're able to deliver, but also in the during unit, deliver that result consistently, predictably, and profitably. And in the after unit, nurture relationships so that everybody that you know knows that you provide these kind of services and is enthusiastic to introduce you to the people that they meet that could use those services as well. So this is a great conversation that we had that covers all of that from a strategic standpoint. And I think you're going to get a lot out of it. So enjoy this episode. Eoin.
Dean, how are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
Honestly, I can't thank you enough for calling me. So, yeah, I'm unbelievably fantastic.
It's been a while. It's been 6 months it takes to get on this show, and here you are.
Yeah, it's worth it, though. Yeah, I was on my honeymoon, and when I sent that last message, I was trying to craft it as well as I could with my new wife. And yeah, I got the call last week. We were away in Berlin for a few days, so I'm actually off with the Australian athletics team on the physio, and she's like, "I've never seen you this excited getting ready for this call." Great. Yeah,
very exciting. So, you are. Where do you live? You live in Ireland, or
in Ireland? Yeah, in a place called Kilkenny. So if I speak too quickly, just tell me to slow down.
Yeah, exactly. That's. It's a nice accent, though, so we'll have a great conversation. So, you've listened in on the show. You know how it all works. We got the whole hour here just to have some even scenes for you.
I've been such a big fan. When I started, I'm sitting in a lovely house now, that part of it is down to you and Joe Polish, because I don't know why I just, in about 2012, decided to I said, I must listen to some business or marketing thing. And I clicked on iTunes and I Love Marketing was there. I was like, that'd be a good enough one to start with. And it was a lucky pick.
That's great.
Wow, so I must say thanks. Yeah, oh my God. But I must say thank you so much, because I was actually just thinking of you there. I was on a run. I was like, it must be crazy for you even to think you start using these things just to sell a few houses in Canada, and now all of a sudden you're impacting lives all over the world, you know?
It's pretty great. It's really awesome. I mean, I've had, I have that surreal thing. Around 2012 was the first time, because of the I Love Marketing podcast, because we've got a global audience there, that was the first time I was able to go over to the UK. And so every summer now, every June, I do a Breakthrough Blueprint event in London. And it's been fantastic to kind of build that community there. I love the UK. I've been to both Scotland and to London. I've never been to Ireland, though, so I hear that's.
Well, if ever need a tour guide, just
on my list.
Yeah, it's good. Nice. Perfect. So, okay.
why don't you set the context here? Tell us what you're up to and how we can kind of hatch some evil schemes today.
Great. Okay, perfect. So I'll let you guide it, but I was thinking I have a few main kind of strategy type questions.
Okay.
And then obviously just going through the profit activators. I would say for anyone who is listening to this that just go and fill out the profit activator scorecard, because, I think sometimes I was in the habit of, listening a lot on runs and stuff. And I do think filling out, it just gets so much, especially if you listen for a while, you kind of nearly know some of the answers and you're like, yeah, I must get back in doing that, or I haven't done that. So even filling out the scorecard, I feel like I got an awful lot.
Well, I want to, that's a great point that the scorecard itself, it's different than anything. You're not getting, it's not an assessment where there's, where I'm grading the scorecard or anybody else is grading it. All the answers are there. You're just rating yourself on a scale of 1 to 12. And for what most people find is even just knowing what, 10, 11, 12, what that looks like for most people is enough to know that that's where I want to be and to recognize where they are. So the insight comes just from having the clarity of identifying where you are on the scorecard currently. So,
exactly.
Thanks for bringing that up.
And how many times have you done it where you're like, God, yeah, that's a great idea for my business, I must do that, and then forget to implement it? So it's nice when it's on the card, you can say, yeah, I was meant to do that, I must go back now, and I have so I've been trying to do a few things already. But yeah, so the main strategy questions I was thinking about, and then I'll just talk about what my business is I'll actually just say what my business is first. So
talk about your business and what the result that you get for people.
Yeah, brilliant. So I'm a physiotherapist. I specialize in kind of back and lower limb injuries. The main thing I do is get people out of pain. I have a kind of unique service offer that I don't talk too much about on the front end, which would be functional screening. Like, it's a video analysis that kind of lets it have a very unique way of finding the cause of the problem, plus hands-on skills. So I suppose I'm a classic solo entrepreneur. I do lecture, and I was doing a PhD, but most of that's done now, so it's freeing up a good bit of more time to work on my business. So this call came at a good time. Physiotherapy in Ireland is a cash pay business, so it's very similar to chiropractic or cash pay physical therapy in the US.
Yeah.
Most clients get a little bit back off insurance, maybe 10%, but that's not really a major issue. However, there is a major insurance company in my town with 800 workers who nearly get fully compensated. So I don't think I'm taking advantage of that enough, because that's nearly free treatment for them, which doesn't really happen in Ireland. And then my practice, so I was thinking of talking to that. So my practice then sees maybe about, because I was doing it 15 to 20 people per week. I run Pilates classes as well, which are very lucrative. So I'm thinking of putting on a few more, as they nearly always sell out. And then with my PhD complete, I probably have space for another 10 to 20 people. But I was thinking of maybe hiring other people, because if it's hourly based, you do run out of time, that way.
Well, that's absolutely true. When you're saying you see 15 to 20 people a week, that would be you hands-on with
and
client.
Then yes.
Okay.
Hands-on with clients, reducing pain basically, and then some people for who have been out of pain, who just come back regularly enough just to make sure everything stays okay.
Okay. How long do you typically work with somebody?
Do you mean per session or time-wise, lifetime value?
Yeah, both.
So an individual session is 45 minutes. And then generally I see usually maybe I would say average the initial consult, maybe like 3 to 4 sessions over maybe a 3-4 week period. And then I get a lot of people out of pain, I would say 90-95%. So of those, maybe 50% would stay coming back maybe once every 6 weeks then, just kind of to keep out of pain.
Okay. And so what's your current method of finding people? How does your before unit work?
Okay, yeah. So the before unit, great. I just have 1 or 2 strategy questions. I might just put it out to you first.
Okay, yeah. Tell me what you're saying.
And then I wouldn't mind going through the before, during, and after unit. So the main things I was thinking of just asking you about were, just to make sure I get things. One would be like the strategy of, transitioning from like a solo entrepreneur to like a business owner. I'm a quick start. I have a lot of ideas, like different courses and associations and stuff like that, and I can get it. But as I said, sometimes you kind of run out of capacity. Is it just bringing people on?
Well, let me ask you this. Is there anything unique about the methods that you're using compared to other physios, or is a 95% success rate or getting people out of pain in 3 or 4 sessions? Is that unusual, or is that standard for going to any physiotherapist?
Like I think it's a good percentage, but if you said that beforehand, I don't think it's unique. As in, another physio is not going to say, "I'm not going to get you out of pain." You know what? Do you know what I mean? So
I wonder that part of the reason that I asked that is, as your strategy here, is there anything magic? Have you got magic hands, or is there anything particularly?
That's like, I had another kind of main question there would be like the price strategy. Like, I was thinking of, I could do maybe, because at the moment I'm doing the same type of session, but a unique thing I do is that functional screening. So rather than just coming in, getting the same exercises as everybody else, you get to see yourself on the screen. I talk about why we're doing these particular exercises. So that really gets much better buy-in. But then I'm also thinking that sometimes people don't want the big sell. That is very whiskers. I think if you start talking about, here's the process, and where I was thinking it would be better for a price strategy rather than individual sessions, to either go shorter, like pain relief sessions of like 20 minutes, so like people can kind of get kind of instant pain relief if you want, and say, oh yeah, this guy really works for me. And then have like packages. So you could have like the back pain package, and it comes with a few things, because I think you were talking about like nearly like a magic button. People want to just press something and that's the back pain.
An easy button, right? Exactly. Yeah.
So I was thinking of just talking to you about that as well. And then also, like, the other thing would be outsourcing, because I do get lazy and I stop tracking things.
Well, and so, but part of that is that, your during unit is, if you're a solo operator, constrained by your limited amount of time that you can spend with your hands on a specific patient. So you're at 15 to 20 people per week right now, and you, with your new free time after your PhD here, you could maybe take that to 30 or 40 people a week, but that's basically it. You probably don't have any more desire to work any more than that, right?
No, exactly.
Those are real. Those are real. Synchronous hours there. So part of the thing, and the reason I asked whether there's anything special or magical about your hands or your protocol, is there something that you have developed uniquely that you could train somebody else? Like, if you took, what would be the sort of likelihood that you could take another, qualified physio and get them to the point where they could get 80% of the result that you get?
Yeah, definitely with my functional screening, because like you get like, rather than just individual exercises, you get a whole kind of unique package. I've written a book on functional screening. I lecture on it. I've done so I would like, that's something where like it's opened a lot of opportunities for me to work with like very high end teams, as I said.
So the functional screening part of this, and I don't know much about this, but I'm imagining that what you're saying is that would be something where you could do an analysis, you could
100%.
question, do some testing, figure out what the plan is, and then delegate the execution of the plan to a specialist physio who's going to work people through the protocol. Is that right?
Yeah, and 100%. So if you came in with back pain, rather than just like, we just treat your back, be like, okay, Dean, you go through these tests I have, you come back the next day, you would have got like hands-on therapy, so your back probably feels a bit better already.
Yeah.
And then we go, here's like the reason for your back pain. You can see is that you have like limited movement through your hips and you're falling forward here. So if we fix 1, 2, and 3 problems, and here's the program that we're going to do it.
And you're going to be working with Jason, and Jason's going to take you through the program. That would be right. That would be ideal, right? Like if you're looking at, if you do that functional sort of analysis and strategy and plan developing, that may be 20% of it, and 80% of it is the execution, so that immediately you can multiply the time that you're spending and just spend your available time doing that 20% and having somebody else or a number of somebody else's to deliver the actual hands-on execution of it. That's how I would look at it strategically, because it's really going to come down to how do you market this? How high is high? What's the opportunity here? How many? How big is the market? Right now,
you don't know any world-class marketers on the phone right now, do you?
Right now, you're constrained only by your time. But if we were to multiply your time available by, your capacity to by 5 times, say, is there that much available business, right? Where do you run into the physical constraints of your local market, because you are providing it in a local market? How big is it Kilkenny? Is that what you said?
Kilkenny, yeah. So there's
how big is Kilkenny?
There's about 10,000 people in the city, about 30,000 around, but you could maybe about 30,000, I would say. And especially if this is a very specialized service. Like I have people who've traveled 2 hours to get this, that way.
Okay.
But I would say maybe 10 to 30,000 people, which would be a lot.
And so how many people have that kind of pain in out of 30,000 people? Like if you're saying, what is your aspiration here for this business? What would you, how would it love to be? Like, could you get to where there's, and how did those numbers have to stack up? Like if you got to a point where you could see 100 people a week.
Yes, exactly.
Right. That would be something that might require you and 2 or 3 other physios, right? That would be like the practical physios, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that would be because you could do that process for like hip pain, knee pain, back pain, because it's individual to the person, you know, and so it's any injury really. I like focusing on back and the lower limb really. But it's any injury. So it's like, I suppose, how many people are injured and
right. So when you look at that, even if you were to, if you just isolate it to back and hip and knee or leg or whatever, then what would be the, what would be the numbers kind of thing of how that would work out?
How many in that area would have injuries that we could deal with?
Yeah, you wonder, right? Like, is that?
Yeah, exactly. I find Dean, and I say it a lot for solo entrepreneurs, is that you get to a certain level and you're full, and then I don't know if it's part secret or part you're not like getting the other oil rigs up and running, that you kind of just stop other things. So like, it's funny, I always feel like say if my wife was away and I'd have extra time, I can work another day. So rather than 20, I'll definitely have 30 people in that week just because I have the free time. But then the next week I'll be back to 15 because I'm probably not following up as well as I should and stuff like that, you know,
because you're spinning all the plates. Yeah, exactly. The thing, right? Is you've got to go, and when you have the time, you can spin up some business, and then when you're busy with your hands on the clients or patients, you don't have the time to do the things that gets the people in the business. That's why what we really want to do is start with this division of thinking about your during unit as an isolated unit from your before unit and your after unit. When you look at, that's why I start with the during unit and just say, what would it look like? What would it take to have the capacity to work with 100 people a week? And if you had 100 people a week, how long do people go through a cycle? Like you were saying, it might be
probably a month. Yeah,
it might be 30 days that they work with you one time there, and so then other people might be coming back.
Yeah, 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, I would imagine.
Yeah. So in order to have 100 people a week, is you really have to. That's really going to come down to finding
1,000 for a year.
1,000 a year, exactly. And so out of that, out of that 30,000, are there going to be 1,000 people a year that have that type of a need for you? That's a question that you have to kind of just get a sense of, And when you start looking at the target audiences, you can start certainly with the acute onset things. Like when you look at of the new people that do come to you, what percentage of them have an acute onset situation where they've had an injury, and what percent of people are more dealing with a chronic issue?
Oh God. Maybe like the people who go through the functional screening, because I charge extra for that. But I don't advertise it, but they may be 50-50, I would imagine, 50%, maybe 50 to 60% chronic injury, 40% would be maybe an acute injury.
Okay. And when you look at the of all the people that come, that you work with, what are there people who have chronic issues who come regularly, like more often than that 4 to 6 weeks?
Oh yes, and then
people, what percentage of people come on that come more regularly, and what's kind of the most frequent?
I'd say 10 to 15%. And I'm a runner as well, so I specialize. Like I would even do like kind of sports physio, sports massage. So I have a few people who come once a week, every week.
Mm-hmm. And so that's great, right? When you start to look at that, that's where I was going with this, is that could open up some other opportunities for you,
and as well with that, it's like we have the sports Pilates course. So a lot of patients who come in, like we have 60 people who per week who would do like either Pilates or sports Pilates. So again, that's it. Like, and they would have initially had pain maybe, and now they are in our Pilates class, or now their friends have come as well, So
right. Mm-hmm.
As you said, there's that kind of add-on income if you get people in the door.
I think that's great. And then what about some proactive stuff? Like, is there something where you could, as people are aging, help with their mobility, their joint pain, their stiffness, their overall sense of mobility and well-being? Could you keep people more youthful if they were to, on some level, get involved with you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. And that's the screening. The other initially the screening was designed as like even say people in triathlons or runners coming like as a pre-season thing, and I would make a program for them. And I've had like teenagers come, again, their parents don't want them to be injured, so they look at because it's ideally it's a preventative thing. Like if you can see these causes of injury and fix them before you come, but you could definitely use it as for people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. The thing I've found hard with the functional screening is just that idea of the more cheese, less whiskers. I kind of set like ads and stuff like that up for like things to help your back pain, but I haven't then segued into like here is the functional. This is what functional screening is. That way I could probably do a lot better.
Well, you're going to do that. That's sort of an education thing, right? Like that's going to be that's a Profit Activator 3 thing, right? Where you're educating and motivating, you're explaining what that is to people. But another level that I wanted to kind of like look at those backgrounds is even people, beyond 40, 50, 60. I'm talking maybe people into their 60s that are starting to feel the effects of, a sedentary kind of, life. They're getting some atrophy. They're feeling less and less stable and mobile and flexible, those kind of things. Do you ever get people like that, or would that be somebody that you could help? Because it feels like if somebody in there, I was just at Starbucks this morning with a guy who's 68 years old, and he's he's getting to a point where he's having a harder and harder time moving, and it's because he hasn't been mobile. And that, if that's the thing, that's really where people feel the aging, like I notice it myself. I just turned 50 and I'm noticing that I don't certainly move like I moved when I was 30.
I would rather work with someone then like you than I have worked with people in their like 80s and I've had like, there's a very good businessman who's very active. He's like 74 and he comes pretty regularly. But the problem there is that like even for me, there's not the same suppose because the joints are starting to move, like, you know, lose their elasticity. Where it's like if you're 50, if you do the things we're talking about, you're going to see like massive changes. You can be, you know, still golfing, still. Where if you're 87, there's not as much as you can do. And to be honest, it wouldn't, even for like an excitement for me, I wouldn't be as.
No, okay,
it probably could be lucrative.
And that's no, and again, it wasn't. You got to think now about the. None of this is going to be about you, right?
Okay,
like you've got to get out of the phase where you're the one doing it, and you've got to get elevated to the level where you are the, you know, founder and the cheerleader for this. You're the guy who's like going out and spreading the word that you can help people with any kind of pain, help them identify what it is, and introduce them. You're just out bringing them into your world where your team of specialists is going to help them get the result, not that you're going to have to do it. Yeah,
because I could get a physio who would be like specialist in that then.
Right, and I'm just thinking about when you think about the entirety, like what are the sort of you know, adjacencies to what you're doing that could open up that opportunity to get to where you can help as many of the 30,000 people in your area to have the most pain-free mobility for their whole life, you know?
Yeah.
That's really, that's like the big picture of where you could go with that, you know?
This is brilliant, yeah. This is brilliant. I have elderly, and then you can, as you said, it segues off. They could be classes. They could have hands-on therapy. You know, once they've identified what's wrong with them, have adolescents or teenagers, just make sure you're fixing these problems before they occur. And then I'm going to be starting a golf Pilates in September.
I was just going to say that then you've got all of the things. If I were doing like a Profit Activator 1, a target market graph for you, you know, I would start looking at both geographically. So we've got 30,000 people who logistically are the highest likelihood of the people that we can serve. And within that,
and just to say that, like that functional screening, like no one's really. I am the best at that, and it's the one thing, you know, said if you only got paid. If you said, okay, I'll fly you out to Canada, I'll do this, and if I don't think this is giving me an unbelievable insight into what's wrong with me, and you haven't explained it and given me a program, you have to pay for it all, or I'll pay for it if I like it. I would do that, you know. So it is the one thing I could give this for free, and it's like once they see the package and the way it's explained, like this, it is something. It's something I've thought about before, but maybe I've been thinking too small because of the area. I'm like just going back doing kind of your traditional. I've kind of like jumped into the herd and trying to be the best of the herd as opposed to the best with this individualized practice.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to help you do. It's step back from that. Let's get some altitude on it and look and see all of the the big picture of this here. Like of those 30,000 people, some of them are going to have, you know, and you're saying that maybe 10% of the people have the an ongoing problem, have a chronic problem. And was that what you said about right? Or
oh yeah, no, well, more would have a chronic problem, but say 10-15 would just come regularly every week.
Right, there you go.
Just for hands-on
10
treatment.
10 or 15 come every week. Right. So when you look at it, that some of those people right now have a chronic problem. They have chronic back pain, chronic hip pain, chronic knee pain, chronic shoulder pain, whatever it is. They've got some kind of joint pain that they're dealing with all the time. There are another group of people who don't have any pain right this minute, but next thing you know, they're going to go out and they're going to twist their knee in a hole on a hike and end up doing some damage to their ACL or do something that's going to cause some acute onset pain that they may be able to work through over the next 4 to 6 weeks and rehab through the injury and be fine and never have that pain again. And then there's some that, through no fault of their own, they're going to have some kind of accident or incident or something that's going to put them in the category of having to manage this pain for a long period of time. And you're going to be able to help them there. And then there are other use case things, like who are likely people. If we go upstream of what's causing it, you kind of, as an athlete yourself, have identified that it's triathletes and athletes that have run into these problems. Golfers will often have a problem. And
we can identify them before they occur.
Yes, exactly. And then you go out the next level and you look at things like age on its own, just getting older. That's going to start that decline. And if you can reverse it and make somebody, a 50-year-old feel as mobile as a 30-year-old, that is going to turn back the clock, especially if you get them in that 50 or 60 age group before they ever get up into their 70s. But even though that's not as exciting to you, there's probably
that bit is really exciting to me. That's really exciting. What's not as exciting is if you have the 85-year-old. Like what I'm trying to say to the people who are 60, it's like, you look down the stream here. Like, if I do this stuff now, you're going to enjoy your retirement. You're going to enjoy your golf.
That's
like,
what it
don't
is.
Don't just keep
their grandkids
doing the wrong thing.
And,
exactly.
Playing with their grandkids.
They're independent. It's like, I'm very excited about that. Like, I even have, as I said, I have a couple of people who come regularly who, they're very successful businessmen in Kilkenny, and they're still running their businesses at 74, 75. I have one guy, he's running for Ireland. He's 41 and he's running better than ever. So I'm excited about that. But sometimes when you get into your late 80s, like if the damage is done, the damage is done a little bit.
Yeah, I got it. So so the limit is in helping people like reverse it, stave it off, where there's still hope for them. But that, when you create that, now that creates a great pool of potential people within that 30,000. Now, when you start to look at it, is like some of them are some of them are identifiable. I mean, you can identify it even on a peripheral level. The people who are athletes. You can identify the runners, and you can identify the golfers, and you can identify the whatever else would be that level of people. You can identify the people who are turning 50, or the people who are in their 50s or in their early 60s as a group of people that you could start that conversation with, because those are all viable individual target audiences, And so by looking at it that way, you can kind of think about what would be the best way to get that conversation started, Do you think that you are maximizing the people who have an acute onset pain? Do you think that you are getting that call more than your share of it? Like, do you think your the awareness of who you are and what you do is high enough that whenever somebody has some chronic or some acute pain, that they immediately think of you?
It could be higher. I do articles for the local paper, and I'm quite good on like Google, and I would be kind of known locally, but I was number one. I was number one big time, but there's been a couple of new kind of massage therapists who've come in to the area, and they're doing quite well, especially like they're younger, so they're doing it on like Facebook and stuff. So like it's the first time I'm not like the highest reviewed person, and like there's someone with more reviews than me, so I could be doing it better. I know.
Yeah. See, there you go. You can't be slipping.
That's it. You're either moving forward or you're going backwards. There's no standing still.
That's exactly right. And so, part of the thing is being the one, that's right there. How many clients do you have right now? Let's talk about your after unit for a little bit. How many patients do you have? Do you call them patients or clients?
Patients, yeah.
Okay. How many patients do you have in your on your records right now?
Oh God, about 100 and 200 probably.
Okay. And so of those 200, if we just isolate your after unit right now, of those 200, how many of them are coming back, every month or coming back regularly?
Maybe at the moment 20, I would imagine.
Okay. And so when you look at this, right, part of the thing that you want to recognize is in your after unit, part of your revenue, your annual revenue here, is coming from people who have already done business with you, who already
big time,
know you, like you, and trust you, right? So the two things that we measure in your after unit are the amount of repeat business that you're doing with the existing clients that you have. And then we want to measure the amount of referral business that you get. That's what Profit Activator 8 is about, right? So Profit Activator 7 is about nurturing lifetime relationships, and that's going to be a factor of those 200 people brought in X amount of revenue, which was X percent of all of my revenue kind of thing. And we look at getting a metric that's going to make sense for you, right? A metric to say that what is the the value of these 200 people for you each year.
Yeah.
And so
exactly.
When we look at it, what kind of do you track referrals from the people that are in your after unit? Do you track the referrals? Like to say,
no, not really.
Okay.
I have it on it like a spreadsheet, but I haven't done it much, like where they heard about me.
Not where they heard about you necessarily, but I'm saying, when people start with you, you must have a way of knowing that somebody was referred to you, right? Do you ever have people call you up and say,
oh yes, 100. Like, and that's what I mean. So like, how did you hear about me? It's like, oh well, my friend Sheila told me, and then I'd write down, Sheila's name, great. Or I looked it on Google, and like I send out newsletters, and I need to get better with the super signature. As I said, just going through the scorecard was good, because it's like I haven't been doing that amazing postcard idea of, if you hear anybody with, I think that would be a good idea. And
that's what I was going to say, is that when you look at it, if a good portion of your business is referrals of people saying, oh, you helped Sheila. What I would imagine, just from hearing you talk about it, that's really the only indication that you have, that it's not so much anything that you're doing to orchestrate those referrals, but they're coming in and saying, oh, my friend Sheila was raving about you, or said you did a great job with her.
Exactly. And the only thing I send Sheila, an email saying, like, if you hear of anyone who needs help, just make sure that they mention your name, and I'll take special care of them. But I don't actually give like an explicit of what that is or anything.
Right.
Sometimes I get like money off if they come in, not to Sheila, but to her friend, because I listened to your referral thing, and they're not referring for a 10-year-old for themselves.
What your patients really want is they want to be helpful. They want their friend to get out of pain. And if they hurt their knee and you were able to help them, and now they don't have any knee pain, that odds are what they really want, I got just the guy for you. You need to go see Eoin, because Eoin fixed me right up. Now, when they go and see you and you help them get out of pain, that's the reward for Sheila.
Yeah, exactly. If she's in the canteen or the golf course next day, it's like, Sheila, my knee is perfect. Thanks a million.
Exactly. That's it. Right. So we need to, first of all, get you into a position where the next level beyond your scorecard now is to set up your metrics, right? We need to overlay your before, during, and after unit on top of this. And we need to say, how long have you been in business now?
About 4 years.
Okay, so you've got an established business right now. So you're in the last 12 months, we need to figure out, of 100% of the business that you did, how much of that came from your after unit and how much of it came from your before unit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so when you look at it, that some percentage of the business that you did was because people came back or they referred somebody. And that's a knowable number. You've got access to that. And we just need to figure out what that is so that we can see what we can do to raise that number.
Yes.
Right? Because now when you look at it, what we've got is we know who those 200 people are. And we know that you've got their physical mailing address, and you've got them on your records here. You're the incumbent pain solution for their world, right? That you're the incumbent pain reliever, and they don't have a need for finding anybody else. If they have a recurrence or they have another type of pain, you want to make sure that they know that you can help them with their hip pain, even though what you helped them with last year was their knee pain, because they may fall into a completely different situation. And we want them to know that all of their friends, everybody that they end up in conversation with, if they hear anybody talking about knee pain or hip pain or back pain or shoulder pain or any kind of acute or chronic situation like that, that they know to call you, right? They know that you can help them. So we want to kind of look at a strategy to continually communicate that to people. And in addition to that, look at the people who are not maybe officially patients for you yet, but are people that are influencers or people that that if you in addition to your patients, there are, I'm sure, people that if you were at the grocery store, you would recognize them by name and you'd stop and have a conversation, right? There's probably 150 of those people that you know too. And do you ever communicate with those people on an ongoing basis, like to let them know about the kinds of people that you help?
No, I do articles for, as I said, the local paper. So I suppose there's a good audience there, and I'm not sure if my figures are 100% right on that 200, but say we'd have 60 people per week for Pilates, and then no, I wouldn't though. If I met someone in the street, I'd just be like, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, I wouldn't be. Did I tell you I fix knee pain?
Right, exactly. And so, well, no, part of that is that you don't have to do it by person, but you can certainly do it with a postcard.
Yeah, yeah.
Part of the thing is that that's what we're talking about, is that people maybe have a vague sense of what you do, but when you're overtly laying it out for them, when you're overtly, sharing what you do, that's really a valuable thing,
Well, definitely that functional screening. Definitely that functional screening. I'm not telling anybody that really until they kind of come in, and then I tell them I have this kind of. It's when they see it, they're like, "Oh my God, that's."
Okay, so talk to me about that, because you're pretty in love with this functional screening, and I don't know what it means. So,
it's like a biomechanical analysis. I'm just thinking. It's a biomechanical analysis of just the way, just as you said, finding the cause of the problem rather than just trying to fix this.
So describe
solution.
it to me again. So what? So I've heard you talk about it. That functional screening really says nothing. So when you said biomechanical analysis is getting a little closer. At least I get a sense of what that is, but. Explain it to me in everyday words, just functionally what it is.
Basically, so we videotape you doing certain movements to find out the reason for your pain or what could cause pain in the future, and fix it then. Yeah, that's it.
And what kind of movements?
So like kind of squatting, lunging. It could be a jump depending on the sport. It could be like a swing analysis for golf, and just different components of the body, like a whole body analysis to find out the reason for the problem. So a lot of times back pain isn't causing.
Would it be my gait and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't do as much of gait, but that kind of idea. Yeah. So different tests, whole body tests to find the reason for the reason for your pain. But as I said, I don't
find the weak link in your.
That's 100% it, and you fix the weak link then, and then that a lot of times fixes the symptoms, which are back pain, or the symptoms which are whatever else.
So could somebody's weak ankle be causing their back pain? Is that the kind of?
That's exactly it, and a lot of times it is, or. They're not moving that well through their upper back or their hips. So when they're swinging a golf club, then they're having to jar their lower back. So we can release off your lower back and fix that symptom. But if we fix the cause of the problem, it would you get long-term success.
Okay. And what about, is it something where like tight hip flexors could cause their knee pain or something? Is that,
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So I'm kind of drawing just on my limited knowledge of how this all works. I'm just trying to think of how that might.
No, it's just when you say that, like, say, would the 150 know? Because Kilkenny is local, like, they would know that some would know I'm a physio, or they might, ask a problem. I could probably do it more. But again, just as you're saying, of that unique service offer, I would say less than 5% would know he's a physio, he can help you. But then nobody would know, actually, he has this really specialized skill.
Yeah, the greater question is, especially with those 150 who are not your patients right now, you would hope that if they had a need, that they would call you. And it's a blessing that they don't have to. That's most people in Kilkenny are hoping to get to go through their entire life without ever meeting you. That's the reality, right?
Yeah,
and
100%.
Your hope too. That's fine. God bless you if you get to go through life with no pain. That's a blessing, and good on you. But for the people who do have some kind of a need for you, that could be you just want to know that whenever anybody in Kilkenny that you know is in a conversation with somebody who is talking about some level of acute or chronic or new or nagging or any kind of motion or mobility or pain related thing, that their immediate thought is of you.
Yes, yeah, that's brilliant.
And that immediately triggers them to call you to get something to give to their friends.
Yeah, I do have I do have a low back report and a knee report, but that is brilliant. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying now.
Right.
It's just how to do that, yeah.
And that's where that takes just the repetition and patterning. There's something about like patterns and something that you're kind of planting this seed that if they ever have that need, that the moment they hear that conversation, they know exactly what to do. I'll give you an example. There's in the United States here, there's a company that does same day carpet and flooring installation, and called Empire is the name of the company. And listen, I've never had a need for same day carpet or flooring installation, but they have pervasively for 25 years run ads on television that talk about their flooring, talk about their things, and then they have this, they tell you same day, installation, and they have this jingle that they run with their phone number, 800-588-2300 Empire today.
Yeah.
And that's their thing, right? So we in fast forward, after all of that time, and no conscious thought ever given to Empire, in my mind. Somebody in my real estate Facebook group had posted, does anybody have a source for same day flooring that I could get flooring replaced today? And immediately, almost against my will, this jingle comes running through my mind, 800-588. And it was like that was embedded in my mind for this moment.
Yeah.
25 years of that embedded in my mind. And now, just at the moment that I need it, it's there. And I know by heart the phone number of Empire Flooring to post in this Facebook group, right? So what I'm saying is that if you're into this pattern of, this is why the psychology of what we do with the world's most interesting postcard is important. That every month, if you're saying to people, just a quick note, in case you hear someone talking about this, knee pain.
Yeah.
A lot of times people have knee pain that they just live with. It's just nagging, and they, chalk it up to aging or whatever. But if you hear someone talking about knee pain, give me a call or text me, and I'll get you a copy of What's That Nagging Knee Pain? What's Causing My Nagging Knee Pain book.
And if I'm putting that then at the end of every article as like just in case, again,
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Or if I give and then because then
everybody who knows you knows that if they ever hear someone talking about knee pain, that's going to trigger now, I can get that knee pain answer book from Owen.
Yeah.
And then they'll call you up. And that's where your referral business is going to increase. That's where the big opportunity is. It's the lowest hanging fruit for you, especially with the 200 people that are already your clients, patients, and the 150 people who already know you personally, who are local influencers, local whatever. You're going to look at building your relationship with those people and look at your moving forward to really orchestrate a situation that over the course of the year, you're going to address all of the major pain things, all the things that somebody might refer you. Could be back pain, could be hip pain, could be knee pain, shoulder pain.
Yeah. I have a knee pain and the back pain one, but yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And would you put that on like Facebook as well? Like if you did an article on Facebook at the very end, that's kind of same super signature, or would you just leave it to like?
Well, again, it depends when you're talking, if you're talking about on Facebook, doing Facebook
people who like my page.
Or doing, things where you're building in your community there, you want to be aware of what are the most common things that people are going to, that are going to trigger the conversations, What are the things that people would want to respond for?
And just on that with the report, that was another question I had for you. Like, because you obviously give away the 9-word email, which is unbelievable, Mm-hmm. But then I know you can kind of follow up as like, okay, this is what you should do or whatever else. In a report, like, I'd have two kind of offers. It's either a report or I have a quiz to find out what's the best thing to do, physio, MRI, or like
and I don't know that
your doctor.
Yeah, I think like a quiz is. A quiz is probably not that's a mismatch of terms. When somebody's in pain, I think I would get more serious about the answer, about the level of what that is, and I would say like a diagnostic is
diagnostic
is a much more powerful word than quiz. I'm going to take a diagnostic.
That is what it is. It's like the diagnostic would tell you like, here's the step you should take literally next, without having to go to someone. But the other thing with the report there, like how much of your information, so say, would it be better, say if there was a thing I could tell somebody in the report that would, do I tell them like what's causing their back pain, how we can help, or do I go, here is literally like, this thing should help it a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like you could literally give them, like, how much of the puzzle do you fix, or do you just talk about like, here's what physio would help with, here are some of the exercises, like do these exercises that'll help straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I look at it that, I tend to give everything, to give help people as much as you can, knowing that it's the hands-on, it's the last 100 feet that's really the thing that makes the difference, is like demonstrating, giving that the thing. People are going to want to get a proper diagnostic, they're going to want to, when you describe this functional thing, is that could be repositioned as a diagnostic test, that I think when you really look at it, you want to raise the seriousness of it, and that will, get people into the office to do that. And then when you're there, then you've got the opportunity to now present what your prescription would be for this,
Yeah, I have so the way I've been sorry, I know, because it's just to keep on, it's just to get all this stuff in. So for my offer at the moment, it's like, say, mainly on Google, it would be either the back pain, what I was calling a quiz. So, you know, I don't want people coming into me if they actually just need an MRI, because they'll usually get the MRI then and maybe come to me then, or if a GP is okay. So it's either a diagnostic, I was calling the quiz, but a diagnostic is a better idea of like what would be the best approach, or you can hear like get the report, or I'm thinking of writing a book on back pain, and then they're the two offers, and then they go into like an email sequence, and the first one's like, I can give you a call to talk about, so like say they've asked questions, and I was like, I can talk to you a little bit about your answers and kind of give you a bit more information.
Yeah.
And then after that, I kind of ask them again on like day 4. It's like, you know, how have you found the report, or would you like a call now? And then I just send kind of articles, but I wasn't putting any kind of super signature thing of like, here's how we can help. But I think like I'll do that.
You always want to end everything with that opportunity with, you know, whenever you're ready, here are 3 ways we can help. Yeah.
100%, but maybe make the quiz sound more like a diagnostic test. And when would you put in the stuff about functional screening? Because I know it helps, but it does sound a bit like if you're ringing about like a back pain report, obviously you're like their ideal thing, and in the report you get like a lot of tips that would ease back pain and like specific exercises. But so their ideal is, I do this report and I don't have to go anywhere, you know. So when do you start saying like, well, this is, if you want the absolute best help, is that just in the super signature, or do you start in the like profit activator number 3? I'm kind of struggling.
It's all where you're coming from. So you want to assume that everybody wants the best level of help and they want it now. And you start with that. You start and you treat everybody like they want your help and they want it at the highest level and they want it now. You just assume that's the best place to come from, and you're responding to people at that level, but you're also okay if they don't.
100% I am.
Yeah,
as well.
You got to make it right. That's exactly it. That you got to make it okay that they don't, and if they feel that that's the truth. So you're presenting these things. You hear one of the things that I often say is charge neutral. You know, like you're presenting the options for people, but you're not trying to convince them to do it. You're not hyping it up. You're not kind of like cheering them on to do them. You know, you're not trying to sell them on it. You're trying to show them all of the possible solutions that you have for them, right? And you want it to be that if they can read this report, do the exercises, and be done with the pain, that's great, because that's going to now have a great positive impact of you in their world. Odds are that they're not going to comply. It's hard enough for you to get the people who are paying you to do it to comply. And the only time they do it is when they come to see you and you're physically moving their limbs through the motions of doing the actual exercises. So, you know that fear of somebody, taking the discipline and the approach of following your protocol is very unlikely.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, just that that insurance company. I suppose if I just did a couple of talks for him, I could even try see if I could do something on the newsletter for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? I mean, if they're, you got, and there's the thing is, among the 30,000, you start to look at who are the people who might be in situations where their insurance would pay for it, just like what you were talking about, that where it's practically free, any kind of pain, that it makes sense to have that kind of analysis done for them. Anybody who's maybe in an employment situation where it might inherently cause some repetitive stress kind of issues, where their job or their vocation may be causing the issue, or it may be causing the injury. If they're in some sort of factory work or construction work or some sort of physical labor that often comes with injuries, that they're creating patients for you, and the athletes and the golfers and the people who are in high probability feeder activities for you, right? Like the local bridge club is probably not going to have as much, as much as the running club, Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And then just one or two little things, because I know this has been great, Ian. Thank you so much.
I know we've been an hour and 10 minutes. Look at us.
Oh my God, I know it's flown. It is flown. I was just going to say, for like Google ads v Facebook ads, on a Google ad, should you just have like nearly, like as you said, if it's a 5-star prospect, where sometimes I feel I'm like trying to bring them through a quiz, and they're like the highest thing is like knee pain Kilkenny, and like
I mean, there's the thing. It's like
I don't need to bring them through a filter there. I think
no. You want to make sure that they know what to do. Like if somebody's gone to Google and typed in knee pain Kilkenny, that means that they're looking for a local provider for that. And so if you're there with not knee pain Kilkenny, or not Kilkenny
or
knee
fill
pain
in this
specialist,
quiz.
but you want to have knee pain relief, right?
Yeah.
This is what they're looking for,
Yeah.
And if that's and have people directed that way,
Yeah, that's, I think, because even going through, obviously I need the reports and all, but maybe just have another ad on Google where, you're one with the, like, need a dentist now kind of thing. I think I'm kind of missing out on, like, where I find that sometimes people are, I just think, God, maybe if I just simplify this a lot more, would it just work a lot easier?
Absolutely, especially with AdWords, where you know exactly what they're looking for. It's not like Facebook where you're just kind of in the neighborhood. I have to look at Facebook is like putting a billboard in a neighborhood, whereas the AdWords is specifically driven by somebody's request.
And then I just flip flop, because I know, say for that biomechanical analysis.
Yeah.
I know, like, I'll just have to probably think about, like, nothing's coming to your head over would, like, maybe coming in for one free analysis, or send me a video on it.
Do you charge for it, or do you? Is that something that you do for free, or is it something?
No, I do charge. I do charge for it, but I could probably afford to, like, do the screen, and then they could decide whether they want to implement the program. Then I suppose something like that.
Yeah.
Or I'm just trying to think, how would I? Because
what does it cost you to do it?
Oh, it's only an hour of your time.
Right. So I think that that's part of it, especially if you had somebody who could, it probably takes you less than an hour to analyze a video of somebody going through the motions or whatever,
Yes. Yeah.
And it could be, it could be an interesting thing where, is that something that could be done in a group? Like, could you have a session
I could put on
that?
like open days, like where. Yeah, open day, perfect. Because I'm just thinking it's, as you said, that's a really good strategy in terms of how to go from being like a solo entrepreneur to, because you'd always have that fear of, well, if I take on people and I can't get them patients, I'll be worried about that.
Yeah. No, you got to have the way. You got to make sure that we know how we can
do it.
Bring them in. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you got to be first. You got to get the scale ready algorithm before you can scale.
Yeah, and is that just doubling down on work for a while? Is that what you did with real estate? Just
That's
like
it.
were you ridiculously busy for a while and then it's okay, now I can bring people in?
That's right.
Perfect. Okay. So maybe an open day there. So just think about like, and then obviously I'll just try to frame that towards like better independence and mobility or pain-free golf, depending on the group I go for.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah. So I just have to think of the offer. That's then, right. Yeah, because that's obviously not as whiskers. Because why I haven't talked about the analysis, it just sounds like, okay, what the hell? Like this, this sounds like a lot of process and a lot of money. Where if I do, right. If I focus on the independence maybe, and then go to each individual group.
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect.
I love it.
Yeah.
So what's your recap? Give me the recap.
Oh, great. Yeah. Okay. So a few things. I think I do have to get better at tracking and find like my referrals and my articles and the people who know me around, because I will be known. So on my newsletters, on my articles, on the contact points with people, always be kind of giving that same message. Just by the way, if you know someone with knee pain, tell them, give us a call and we can send them the report on knee pain, or we can the 7 tips on how to live a healthier life with back pain. That was a big one. Then the second thing is looking at the unique service offer of the kind of biomechanical analysis that will allow me to kind of bring people in who can kind of do what I do and to free time up for me, because I think it's a lot of time just to free up for me. Change the name of my quiz to more of like back pain diagnostic analysis, or like discover, I just have to think about what I'm going to change that to, like diagnostics, and I have my reports, and then look at the different target groups with, say, who don't have injuries on, so like our elderly, our adolescents, our sports groups, golf, Pilates, triathletes, and maybe offer open days where I can screen them, give them a short screen, give them the results, and then say, okay, if you want to do more, we have a full screen plus like a program that lasts maybe like it's like a 6-week program where you come in, you do your exercises, and then you can kind of transition them into like a group class environment as well. So you'd probably have them for like continuous thing then.
Yes.
That sounds good. Did I do well?
Nothing but blue skies. I mean, you got a big opportunity here. I'm excited for you.
That's good. Oh, Dean, thanks so much. I was so nervous I wouldn't get the max out of this, because like, as I said, I've been listening to you for about 5 years, 6 years, and like you'd hear people on. So no, I can't believe I'm talking to you. I'm really, thank you so much for what you do. Honestly, I feel like JR. I'm JR to you.
Oh, that's
JR
so
to Joe
exciting.
is me to you.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll see you in London one day. We'll
hopefully.
I'm going
to track that, and I'm going to say to my wife, I'm going to track all this, and any extra money is going to put in the blueprint.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. That's great.
Well, it's been delightful, Owen. I'm very excited. You're enthusiastic. I can't wait to see
just
the.
One thing. Sorry, I know because
it.
Yeah, thank you.
No.
Just, the GoGo clients.
Yeah.
If I put all this into GoGo clients and say, as I said, if it is successful, you were just saying on the last one where, so you have GoGo agents. Is it a thing then you can make it into like GoGo therapy if you had it all?
Well, there's the thing, part of it. Yeah, exactly. That's the model that both Joe and I followed, right? Like, so I started out as a real estate agent. I started learning marketing and applying it to my own business. Then I started helping the realtors around me in my local area. I licensed what I was doing to 40 real estate agents in Toronto, and then we parlayed that into, a big coaching organization. We built one of the largest real estate coaching companies in North America on the backs of all of that. So that's the way that it all evolved, but it's got to start with you cracking the code for your own
scale ready algorithm.
Get your scale ready algorithm, and then start to branch out and start to work with somebody in Dublin or somewhere to test your same model. But that's the way to think about it, is always think about everything you're doing as if you're doing it so that it could be duplicated 5,000 times,
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Dean, thanks so much.
Okay.
That's great.
Have a great day. Congratulations on your wedding, and we will talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks a million. Take care.
Thanks.
All the best.
And there we have it. Another great More Cheese, Less Whiskers episode. And I just love Eoin's enthusiasm. And I think he's got such a big future. And the way, at the very end, when he's thinking already about how can he package this up and offer this as a service to other physiotherapists, that's the kind of thinking that we're talking about. When I heard him say that, I knew he was really getting this idea of thinking bigger than just himself here. So we talked a lot about this Profit Activator scorecard, and Eoin took a lot of notes on his scorecard. I had a lot to work with when he submitted his form to be a guest on the show. But for you, if you're looking at how to really get a handle on where the opportunity is for you, where to start applying the 8 Profit Activators to your business, the very best place to do that is profitactivatorscore.com. And that's going to point you in the direction of our Profit Activator scorecard, where you can see which of the 8 profit activators are growing your business and which are slowing your business right now. And it comes with a download of the Breakthrough DNA book and a scorecard analysis book that comes along with it. So that's the best place for you to start. I mentioned on the call that I do a breakthrough blueprint event in the UK. If you're one of our UK or European listeners, you may want to join me. I do these events in June in London, right at London Tower Bridge. And we spend 3 days going deep in applying the 8 profit activators to your business. So you can imagine, 3 days going deep and laying out the actual action items that will take your profit activators and put them into action in your business. So if you want to join me for that, just send an email to dean@deanjackson.com and put London in the subject line, and we'll get you all the details about the London event. So look forward to meeting you. And of course, if you're not in London all summer long, I'm going to be in Toronto, in London, in Amsterdam, and in Sydney, Australia. So if you want to join us across on the other side of the world, we'd love to have you as well. Just put Sydney or Toronto in the subject line when you email me, dean@deanjackson.com. That's it for this week. Have a great week, and I will talk to you next time.